The LSAT has changed a lot over the past year, and it's going to change even more going forward. I'm going to walk you through my predictions for 2025 and what they mean for your LSAT prep if you're taking the LSAT then or beyond. For those who don't know me, my name is Steve Schwartz. I've been teaching the LSAT since 2005, and I personally increased my own LSAT score from a 152 to a 175. Of course, back when I took the LSAT, logic games were still on the test. The LSAT was administered on paper and only in person. Now in 2024, the LSAT is available online from home. It's on a computer, and of course, logic games are no longer on the test. After the June 2024 LSAT, LSAC removed the logic games section and replaced it with a second scored logical reasoning section, beginning with the August LSAT. LSAC, of course, announced this official change to the LSAT well in advance, as they do for all official changes, but there are some more subtle, nuanced changes to the test that LSAC has not disclosed and not admitted overtly. LSAC has been making small, subtle changes to the LSAT logical reasoning section, given that LSAC can no longer test those concepts in the logic games section. So we've been seeing more logical reasoning questions involving formal logic, conditional reasoning, numbers and percentages, testing your understanding of absolute versus relative values. LSAC, of course, did not want to remove the logic games section. They considered the logic game section to be an essential part of the LSAT, which is why they would not accommodate the blind test takers who sued them, contending they were at an unfair disadvantage because they couldn't benefit from diagramming on logic games the way other test takers could. LSAC settled that lawsuit and agreed to make a new version of the test without the then current logic games section, and what they ended up doing was simply removing games for everyone. However, LSAC doesn't want to give up on testing those formal logic related concepts, and so we've been seeing on both unscored extra experimental sections as well as on scored portions of the LSAT in recent months that LSAC is in fact increasing the relative proportion of formal logic questions on the logical reasoning section. And so for anyone taking the LSAT going forward, including in 2025 and beyond, I would strongly urge you to increase the time that you devote to studying these formal logic related concepts. Make sure that you are clear on how to diagram conditional statements, how to take contrapositives, and how to link together conditional statements to form a longer conditional chain. Make sure that you are crystal clear on the differences between numbers and percentages. Bottom line, a small number could still be a very large percentage of a given whole, and a small percentage can still be a very large absolute number if the whole that we're talking about is large as well. There have been many LSAT questions like this on the logical reasoning section through the entire history of the LSAT, going back to the June 1991 of the quote-unquote pre-modern LSAT era, before LSAC removed the logic games section earlier this year. So you can practice these questions. There are plenty of examples. All I'm saying here is that LSAC's going to be including a whole lot more of them in the near future. They've already increased their prevalence on official scored portions of the LSAT, and we'll be seeing a lot more of this in the months to come. They've been testing out a ton of them on unscored extra sections going back to at least November 2023. So buckle your seatbelts and get ready for a whole lot more of these. There is another change to the LSAT that started in August as well, much less discussed, of course, which is changes to the LSAT writing sample. The LSAT had the same writing sample for decades, and they changed it this past August to make it longer. They're now giving you extra time to plan out your essay before giving you 35 minutes to actually write your essay prompt. They also changed the nature of the prompt to make it the quote-unquote argumentative writing, where you are using evidence to help you make your arguments, different quote-unquote primary sources to help you develop your points and make your case. LSAC has announced they have plans to start scoring the writing sample possibly after this testing year. So while the writing sample will not be scored from August 2024 until June 2025, it is highly likely that LSAC will begin scoring the writing sample starting with the August 2025 LSAT. They have not yet made an official announcement about when they will begin to score the writing sample, but given that they said they are committing to not score it through the next testing year, it is quite possible that they will begin to score the writing sample starting with the August 2025 LSAT. If I had to guess, they probably figured that law schools really do want a scored writing sample. They do really want to have a quantitative measure of an applicant's writing ability, offloading that work to LSAC rather than doing that work themselves. But changing the LSAT by removing logic games was enough for LSAC to bite off for one testing year, and so they didn't do it this year, but they may well do it the following year. For now, of course, the scored portions of the LSAT, logical reasoning and reading comp, are where you want to focus your time. And if you'd like my help on your journey to scoring a 170 or above on the official LSAT, there are a wide variety of ways that I could support you. You can check out the links below to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. And in the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.